I want to welcome you to the Downtime Temptations course that we put together here just for you during this time of pandemic when things have been turned upside down and a lot of us are struggling and finding it hard to create new habits or to break old ones. We've gotten out of our routine. I'm Ron Ovitt, Mr. Change Agent, and I'm your teacher and author here for this program. I'm glad that you took the time to do this because it's a problem for many of us. You know, I'm in a recovery coach, and when I've worked with a lot of people in addictions and with severe habits, I found one thing that's consistent, and that is relapse happens primarily in the downtime. And it's something that we need to be conscious of and something that we need to work on. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been fascinated with behavior for most of my life. Perhaps like many, I simply was trying to figure out my own complicated life. You know, we all have our normal. For me, growing up and in my early 20s and even into some of my 30s, it was full of anxiety. I felt like I was always on trial, and each day felt like a pass-fail situation. You know, I had phobias. When I was a child, I had to deal with overcoming many different fears. And my experience, you know, with these painful emotions resulted in, you know, this development of empathy for hurting people. And I found myself drawn to those that are suffering, and being in the ministry, I was asked to help many times. So I actually ended up spending the majority of my life then studying in undergraduate and graduate courses and in psychology, specializing in addiction, anxiety disorders, OCD, post-traumatic stress, and other disorders. You know, I felt driven to find answers to these questions and complexities of these common emotional difficulties and to dig deep into it, you know, and so I've studied neurology as well as psychology and have tried to come up with answers for people, and I put together a year-long program called Emotional Resilience, Living with the Fruit of the Spirit, and hundreds and hundreds of people have taken the course, and it, you know, involves, you know, change, because change takes time, doesn't it? And what I found during a lot of this is that downtime can play havoc on our ability to function the way that we want to. Now, what is downtime? What is it? Well, you know, most of us, you know, at least before the pandemic, had maybe a 40-hour-a-week job, right? Some of us have been laid off, and that certainly gives us all kinds of downtime. You know, there's variations on a common 9-to-5 work schedule. You know, there's part-time positions, there's Saturday and Sunday shifts, schedules that change from day to day or week to week. And of course, those that aren't actively employed and retired people, volunteers. So downtime is different for different people. But it's usually that time when we don't have our routines in front of us, when we aren't focusing on the things we need to get done for that day. It's that period between our routine work, whatever that is, whether it's volunteerism, a job, or something, a hobby, whatever. Downtime's when our responsibilities to perform work for an employer or tasks or ourselves or our families lessen dramatically. This is when we get to do what we want to do instead of focusing exclusively on the responsibilities of our job, our personal business, or our families. It's a 9-to-5 scenario, where then the largest amount of downtime obviously is at nights or between Friday night and Monday morning, right? We all experience these. And of course, with the pandemic, it's caused even more of a problem for some of us. Our routines have been turned upside down, and we're finding that we're struggling with these kinds of issues. And so the NICABM, what an acronym, hey, but that is the National Institute for Clinical Application of Behavior Medicine. They said this about downtime. We can get so introspective when we're not busy. When the brain is not focused on completing a task, it's focusing on, now listen, what is wrong with me? What are others thinking or going to think about me? What's wrong with other people? Isn't that interesting? With this negativity can sometimes get involved in our life when we find that we have this downtime. Now, downtime isn't necessarily the enemy. I mean, we can do a lot of good, productive things during there. What instead it needs to be managed. Getting enough downtime is an essential element of a balanced lifestyle and being your authentic self. I mean, weekend downtime gives us a chance to catch up on sleep or physical rest, occasionally taking time away from our routine work, vacations and that. And we need play, we need downtime. Downtime, in fact, Ferris Drob says this in his writing, Why Your Brain Needs More Downtime. He says, downtime is a fact essential to mental processes that affirm our identities, develop our understanding of human behavior, and instill an internal code of ethics. Processes that depend on the downtime is important. Downtime is an opportunity for the brain to make sense of what it has recently learned, to surface fundamental unresolved tensions in our life, and to swivel its powers of reflection away from the external world toward ourselves. So there can be a lot of good things that we can do with downtime.